Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to beautiful Papua New Guinea. We're here in Wewak today and taking you on a flight up to Mount Hagen today. So let's go ahead and get started. It's about an hour flight up there, so yeah. Alright, ignition on, fuel pump on, and starter, make sure my fuel's on. Our energy gets over 14%. I'm going to introduce my low idle for my fuel. I'm watching my NG to see if it's continuing to rise. And I'm also watching my ITT. And it comes out at 670. That ding you heard was just letting me know my alternator is failing because I don't have it turned on. Alright, generator on. Alternator on. Aux bus on. Or prop pushed forward. So yeah, my day is already changing. I was actually supposed to head out to a bush place, Yombai today. And I was looking forward to be able to take you on that flight today, but the grass wasn't cut. So my day is changing and I'm heading on up to my next flight up to Mount Hagen, where I've got some cargo to pick up and then back to Goroka for the end of the day, and I should be done by like 11 o'clock today, so it'd be actually really nice. Alright, so here we are today in Papua New Guinea. If you're not familiar where Papua New Guinea is, which some of you might not be, it's just above Australia. And if we zoom on in here, I'm where the blue dot is in Wewak and heading to Mount Hagen. So we'll be starting down by the coast, flying across the Sepik Plains, and then just start getting into the highlands, which are just the mountains. All stations Wewak 126.7, Kodiak November Tango Echo, taxiing Wewak Mount Hagen at above 1000. All right. Because this is now an amended flight plan, I'm going to have to go ahead and call up for my flight following, which is our SAR, or Search and Rescue here in New Guinea. Madang 1267, November Tango Echo, taxi.
November Tango Echo, Madang, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, taxi Wewak, amended destination Mount Hagen, 1 POB, outbound track 160, and will be 1000. November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, roger, topic taxi.
Some of you guys were asking in some of the comments on some other flights regarding the flight following in our search and rescue here in Papua New Guinea, and is there any differentiation between an IFR flight and a VFR flight? And really, no, there's not for 90% of our flights. It's really only when you're going into, say, Port Moresby or NADZAB, where they're going to give you an IFR clearance. Everywhere else, you just file an IFR flight plan, and they just give you traffic just like they would on a VFR flight plan. So, yeah, there's not really a lot of difference. We're not going to get a clearance, regardless if I'm flying an IFR flight plan or a VFR. All right, there's no traffic, but it's always good just to get in the habit of checking both ways. Probe on, landing light on, and back to pulse. So for some reason, my TAWS is not working on this flight. That's odd. It did this to me about a month ago as well, where this screen loses all of the synthetic vision and synthetic terrain and stuff, and it didn't come back last time, so this will have to be more than likely a VFR flight. It's beautiful out today, so. Alright, fuel caps and selectors are done. Our TAWS will be enabled. Our controls are all free and correct. Our brakes are good. Switches and instruments, like I said, we'll be climbing out up to 1000 today. I'm empty today. And we're on a long paved runway, so my rotate speed, it really doesn't matter. It's basically under about 60 knots because it's not critical here, and there is no wind today. Flaps are set at 20 degrees, and I'm just going to go ahead and get my right rudder trim going all the way over to right rudder full. My elevator trim I usually like setting up too. For my climb out, it'll make it a little bit easier so I don't have to put a lot of pressure. I can set it up pretty much where I want it, and it flies really nice taking off. Alright, if we do need to stop, and if we're not 50 knots by the first taxiway, full reverse, heavy braking, flaps up, cut off, pull off, and shut off if we're going off after takeoff. We're going to pitch for 85, left-hand turn out towards the beach. Consider EPL. If that doesn't work, we're going to go ahead and feather it, cut off, pull off, and shut off. 80, full flaps, hit my emergency, master's off, close to the ground, crack my door. All right, trimming aboard is done. Ignition, inlet, and lights. SAR is done. 32 degrees out. So 1590 at sea level so 1540 for 1590. The reason I'm doing it 50 foot-pounds of torque under that is because as we start rolling, the air is going to be starting to get forced into the inlet, and it raises it back up 50 more. So, all right, ignition, condition, flaps 20, fuel, and harnesses. Checklist complete. All right, there's 1540. Airspeed's alive. There's 50. And 60 and rotate. And I've got a hawk right there, so here's me coming, it looks like. I'm gonna climb out, just bringing my ITT back to 740. It just got up to 748, so still within its limits, but we're gonna bring it out to 740, which is the top of the green on our ITT. If you guys are confused on what ITT is, just Google it. You'll have a better description on it than what I can give you. I don't want to tell you something wrong, so. Right, over 85 knots, we're going to go ahead and reduce our 10 degrees of flaps. And over 90 and climbing, we'll go 0 degrees of flaps. Or over 1,000 feet. Bring our prop back down to 2,000 RPM. A little bit of back pressure. And set our ITT for 720 degrees Celsius for our climb up to 1000. All right, we'll do our landing light off, engine inlet back to normal, and turn our ignition off. Madang 126.7 November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Madang, go ahead.
November Tango Echo departed WEWAC, time 46. We'll be outbound track. Initially for Yambai Talk, we're reporting in Yambai Talk, direct track 164 on climb 1000. Estimating overhead Yambai Talk time 21 next hour.
November Tango Echo, roger. And stand by for transfer.
November Echo. Okay. Just throw our autopilot on, hit my heading bug, it centers the bug up, and that way when I do turn the autopilot on, it doesn't like start veering the airplane.
Roger, time 15. Check Madang on VHF 128.5. No contact 6538.
Time 15 next hour, 128.5 or 6538 November Tango Echo. Yeah, I always hit my heading bug first before I flip on my autopilot. And right now I'm just flying my heading mode, so if I hold the heading mode down and hit nav twice, it'll fly my heading, whatever I have set up here as my bug, and then once I get close to my actual track, so that magenta line on the screen here, once it gets close to that, it will just connect into that. But right now I just have it trimmed out for like a cruise climb at 115 knots, I'm going 118 right now. And once I get within probably 500 feet of my 11,000 feet, then I'll set my autopilot so it just automatically levels off at 11,000 feet and I don't have to do anything. Which is really nice for a Monday. Oh, he said to contact him back at time 15. So right now it's 9:50 in the morning, and what he means at 10:15, I need to call him on a different frequency and let him know that I've transferred over to that frequency. So that's 25 minutes from now, so I don't forget. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit my timer reference, and I'm just gonna set up my timer for 25 minutes so that I do not forget to give him a call. So put that on down and start. And then down here, the alerts thing will start flashing once that timer goes off. And that way it just reminds me to give him a call because, yeah, in 25 minutes I might be doing something else and it's easy to forget to give him a quick call. All right, we are just now leveling off at 11,000 feet. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our torque back here. back, so our ITT is back below 700 and our torque settles in at 1250. I don't know if you guys can see this, but our synthetic vision is not working on our PFD number 1 here. It is working on this one over here. Everything else is working. I don't have any errors or anything like that, but for some reason the PFD synthetic vision has lost for some reason. So if I can hit my reversionary or whatever it is mode here, and it actually displays the synthetic vision as well as the little like flight director boxes and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just reset my number 1 PFD. And so I have all my engine instruments already backed up on here. And what I can do actually is go like this. And now everything that's on this screen is on this screen, so that when I get rid of this, it will still show all that right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and reset my circuit breaker and see if that... Okay, so you can see my black screen here. Actually, you just reset all 3 of them, but it still shows everything here. All right, gave it a few seconds, reset it. It'll have to go through its old system again, initializing everything, resetting everything up. And then, so right now, I have a red X on my nav 1 and my nav 2. So I still have my comms, my number 2 comm. So I haven't lost anything, because we have backups to backups in this thing. So I still have my HF, I still have my comms. It's now coming back on. It still doesn't have my synthetic vision for some weird reason though. So that's something I'm going to have to let maintenance guys know. Again, there's nothing regarding VFR flight or anything like that that has lost. It's just the synthetic vision, which it's not required at all for anything here. Well, that's too bad that it didn't come back on. It did that maybe a month ago on one of my flights. So you can see that it's looking like I'm not actually flying on my course. Let me add in actually Yambai Talk where I have as my reporting point, and that way it will actually look like I'm actually flying where I want to. There we go. So I added in Yambai Talk because that was already on my flight plan, even though I'm not landing there. Just to keep it easier for the controllers, I just let them know that that was just now going to be my reporting point, and my amended destination is now going to be Mount Hagen. Right, so now that that's gone, we're going to go ahead and just put it right back to the standard mode, which puts my map page up. I have all of my engine instruments still on the middle one. And again, I'm not missing any information. The only thing that's not showing up is the synthetic vision and the nice little magenta boxes on here that make it easier if you're like climbing up and you want to see where you're going to enter in your course. It's really nice. Some people say that they hate them and they don't like them for IFR flying. I think it just makes it a lot easier. It makes it feel like you're actually flying just a simulator or a video game. I've flown with my son and, oh, hey, look at that. They just came back on. So maybe it just took a while for it to reset. Anyways, there we go. Got an advisory. PDF1 DB Air. All right, well, there we go. Finally actually got an air. Let me take a picture of that so that I can give that to the maintenance guys. Madang 128.5, November Tango Echo. Overhead Yambai Talk this time 11,000. Hagen 39er.
November Echo, Roger Madang.
Right, we've got about 19 minutes left to go. And I just wanted to cover, just because I did have the synthetic vision go away, I wanted to cover one way you can tell if you are legal to fly. If something goes wrong on your airplane, especially if you're flying like a 135 or whatnot, we have an MEO, which is called a minimum equipment list. And what we can do is we can look in that to see if an item on the airplane fails, if you're still allowed to fly the airplane, and maybe if there's any regulations regarding what you have to do differently to be able to fly it legally. So,
Command position, Hagen, no travel reported. UNH 1020, contact Hagen Tower 15 miles in the bay.
Contact Hagen Tower in the Bayern, November Tango Echo. So this is our MEL here, and as you can see, we have the terrain awareness and warning system inhibit switch. That's not really, that's what this is, this little switch right here is, turn Betty off. And then the one right above it is just the terrain awareness and warning system, which is TAWS. I would say that this would be partially included into that because it is terrain awareness. This little box down here actually does show you the terrain, the yellow and the red. So that's part of the terrain awareness system. And what it says is it may be inoperative provided alternate procedures are established and used, which in my case, I'll just remain VFR today, and repairs are made within 2 flight days. But it's definitely always good to make sure you know that when you do have a failure in your plane, especially if you have something go wrong before you've taken off or anything, or even while during your flight, what needs to be done differently to be able to remain legal and safe at that. So again, all this did was just give me the terrain awareness. It shows me where the mountains are. But again, I also have the reversionary mode that I can hit right here. Takes it off of a completely different computers. There's 2 different separate computers that run these screens here. So if our primary flight display completely died out, what we can do is completely run off this. In fact, I can actually do, the MEL is just looking at it, actually says the PFD2 can completely fail as long as the flight doesn't require 2 people. So that could be completely crapped out and I could just pull the circuit breaker, completely disconnect it, and only fly off of my primary flight display number 1. So anyways, I think it's pretty cool that we have backups to backups as well as standby gauges over here as well. So basically 3 backups for everything. All right, we're 16 minutes out. He said the local QNH was 1020 at Mount Hagen. Just looking up there, it looks like a beautiful VFR day, so no issues there. But I'm going to go ahead and contact tower once we're 15 miles on 120.5. Just for your enjoyment, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the chart for Mount Hagen so you guys can see it. So I'm just going to hit my airports tab and then search for Mount Hagen. And we're using the 4Flight app here in Papua New Guinea. And then we also have linked with our Jeppesen charts. So we used to have Jeppesen app, and we had to use a bunch of different apps to do everything, but what's really cool about the 4Flight app is you're allowed to put user content on it now. So we have our own scan PNG WAC charts that we've installed on here with all of our strip chart information. Anyway, so what I can do is hit my runways here, and it's going to give me my 2 runways. I can scroll up and it's going to show me my touchdown zone. More than likely, I'm going to be landing on runway either 12 or 30. I've never landed on 8 or 26. So my touchdown zone is going to be pretty much 5,300 to 5,400, depending on which end of the runway. I know that they're doing work on runway 30 at the end of it. So they'll probably just have us either land on 12 or I can displace threshold like half of the runway nearly. So ATIS here does not work, and if we need to get a hold of them, over on our frequencies tab, hit our tower 120.5, which I already have in my comm number 1. So anyways, this is the Buyer Gap right in here. If I were to just continue on my direct track, I'm not going to be able to descend down into the Wagi Valley where Mount Hagen is very well. So more than likely, I'm just going to make maybe a 5-degree turn so that I'm just kind of so that I'm heading more towards the Buyer Gap, which is right in this area right here. So to do that, I'm going to hit my heading mode. It's going to center my bug up. Right now, I'm flying on nav, which is our nav GPS. So it's flying on that magenta line, which is my course. So I'm going to hit my heading mode on my autopilot, turn about 5 degrees, and that's going to get me more pointed towards the Buyer Gap. Which is going to make my descent just a little bit easier. I don't have to wiggle around clouds. I can just make a nice, easy descent down into the Wagi Valley area. I go ahead and set up my descent profile. To do so, I hit my flight plan, come to my altitude, and as previously briefed, touchdown zone was anywhere between 53 and 5,400. So I'm just going to put 6,400 for my altitude That's my circuit altitude. Then come down to my vertical speed, and I'm going to put it at 800 feet per minute. That's a really nice descent angle. Gets my speed up to around 160 knots, and it's just going to do a nice, and what it does is it puts a little TOD, top of descent, which is actually showing up. Let's see, get back to my main map page. The top of descent is right on the border of my Mount Hagen tower area. Having a brain fart, can't think. The thing really cool about ForeFlight and being that it's linked up with our Jeppesen charts is it actually throws up this little ATIS reminder, so you don't even have to look it up, and then you can just tap it to hide it. I think that's pretty cool. They've really thought of a lot of really cool things to add into this app for sure. And the fact that you can add in your own charts. Being here in Papua New Guinea, we really don't have, there isn't anything really out there. I mean, there's TAWS Runways, which is another app that we used to use. Then again, you're having to use multiple apps for your charts, and then you have to have one for your Jeppesen charts if you're going to be shooting an approach, and then you have to use a different one to bring up all of your bush location strips. And this one, we can throw everything in there and have it all at one place, which is, yeah, super, super handy. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start my descent a little bit early. There's a bunch of clouds just right at the edge of the Wagi Valley and the Fire Gap area. So I hit my vertical speed, just start my descent now, so I can get up underneath of them. It's hard to tell when the clouds are kind of broken to scattered. When you're further away from it, it just looks like a cloud layer, but once you get there, you can see that you can wiggle down. But just to make things even more simple, I'm just gonna start my descent a little bit earlier, and that way I can get in there without having to wiggle my way down through clouds. It just make my life easier. All stations in the Fire Gap area, 128.5. Kodiak November Tango Echo. We passed through the Fire Gap for Mount Hagen, left 11,000. Currently tracking 150. Hagen Circuit 39er. All right, made my position calls here, and just another 3 nautical miles. We're going to head and call up our tower at Mount Hagen at 15 miles. I'm going to go ahead and turn my altitude to select here down to my pattern altitude of 6,400, and that will give me a nice little cyan mark on my map page to show me where I'm going to get to that altitude. So it looks like I'm going to get there a little bit before, which is fine because I just want to get down below this kind of broken cloud layer so I can remain underneath of it a little bit sooner. Hagen Tower, November, Tango Echo.
Vertical track.
There we go. I'm switching my altimeter setting 1020 as well as my standby, even though it's a VFR day. It's good to get in habit. Whoops, had my volume down. Mount Hagen Tower, November Tango Echo. I had my volume down. Say again, please.
November Tango Echo, Hagen Tower, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, 14 miles to the Fire Gap, passing 900,000 on descent. Your circuit time, 39er.
November Tango Echo, runway 12, wind light and variable, QNH 1020, temperature 21. Track for a straight in approach, report final.
Straight in for 12, report final, November Tango Echo and 1020. All right, runway 12. So we're just 15 miles out. I'm gonna hit my OBS button. Turn my course to runway 120, and it throws up this really cool little line right there. This as the runway heading. So he said a straight in. So I'm just gonna track. Looks like it's more over that way a little bit. So I'm just gonna head on down here and then report again. 5 mile final for runway 12. 8,200 foot right now. It looks like the cloud kind of broken layer is about my pattern altitude. Let's go ahead and do our checklist now. Pre-landing checklist selectors, fuel selectors and brakes are good. our TAWS. We're going to turn Betty off because I am going to be going right by these hills right here. Our VREF, we're 5,300 pounds, so our landing weight is going to be, our 63 knots is going to be our VREF. Landing lights on now that we're in the his airspace. Alright, I've got the airfield in sight now, so once I get out underneath these clouds, we're going to head over more so that we can line up for more of a straight in. We'll finish our lights and inlet here shortly. Our abort and emergency procedure. If we need to go around for any reason, birds, or I just have a terrible landing or whatnot, it's power up, 20 degrees, pitch for 73, straight ahead or maneuver as required. Reset our power up at 740 on the ITT, and try it again. Prop and harness, we're 6 miles out. Looks like these clouds are right at 7,000. Right, 5 miles out, push my prop forward. Get my harness locked and reduce down to 400 foot-pound of torque. That'll help slow us down, get our inertial separator into bypass for landing, and start getting our flaps in. 138 knots, first degrees flaps, and put our inertial separator into bypass. Falcon Tower, November Tango Echo, final, runway 12.
November Tango Echo, runway 12, clear to land.
Clear to land 12, November Tango Echo. Alright, lights and inlet are done, 20 degrees of flaps, below 120. The slowest I can come in is my VREF of 63. I don't really need to because it's a pretty long paved runway, so I'll just plan on coming in right around 70 knots today. After this flight, I'll be heading on up to Goroka, right down the Wagi Valley. Another, I think, 28-minute flight or so. But I don't think my batteries have enough life in them to bring you along on that flight, so maybe on another one. All right, that dinging noise, some of you guys have asked what it is. It means I'm 200 feet within my set altitude, so I have it 6,400. I just passed 6,100. Obviously, I'm high on my final. Flaps complete, checklist complete. All right, I'm aiming kind of to land around the 500-foot marker. Again,
500.
on runways like this, I'm not 100% concerned about landing on my exact spot every single time, because usually by the time I land at these places, I've gone to some bush places, and I don't have any more mental power to do that. Right. So I am coming in a little bit fast, so I'm going to be floating a little bit. I had to reduce my power and pitch back. That's going to slow me down. Alright, just a tiny bit before the 500. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that little flight up to Mount Hagen, Papua New Guinea. Please join me along on another flight. I've got a lot of other videos. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you do enjoy this kind of content. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, and have a great day. Alright, to shut down, I'm going to turn my blowers off, my taxi, my landing, my strobe, my fuel pump, my aux bus, my generator, my alternator, my V2 tracker. That's just letting me know my alternator, my generator is failing. Flow 585 on my ITT. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I also have my fingers over here on the starter in case my ITT doesn't drop below 200 and go all the way flat, and it starts rising back up. Then I'm going to hit my low motor, and that's going to basically start turning my turbines, start blowing some nice cold air through the engine and cooling it back down, but it is. So anyways, thanks again. Have a good one.